Peace, peace. What's going on? What's going on? It's good with y'all today. Holla at y'all, boy. Now, somebody brought this to my attention, so I said, I'm gonna cover it and speak on this Dr. Umar situation here. Now, before I start on Dr. Umar, I just want to say this. Let me say this. I understand Dr. Umar's position, or Umar Johnson, or whatever people call him, right? I understand his position. I understand um is it right? Uh that's a matter of debate. But his standpoint, he doesn't believe in interracial marriage, so-called, interracial marriage. And he doesn't feel like Eminem can be the greatest rapper because he's not African, as I've seen it stated. Now I can understand that position, and only because, as we know, in this country, black people from the beginning of the inception of this country have been under attack. Now people may not believe this and stuff like that, but it's a lot. It's numerous evidence and receipts and stuff. Some stuff the government even admitted to some of this stuff. Now, if they admitted to some stuff and some stuff is out there, imagine the stuff they don't admit to and we don't know. So what happened was black people started, trying to preserve their culture, their heritage, and one of the ways to do that was, to marry somebody from your own uh, heritage and color or race or whatever you want to call it. So I can understand, you know, black people from here wanting to marry other black people from here, just like a Jewish person may want to marry another Jewish person, a Muslim, a Chinese person, an Indian person. They may want to marry within their own culture and stuff like that. So that's nothing new. Now let's get to Dr. Umar and this whole black thing, right? So like I'm black from here, right? Growing up, my mother had the same mentality. It's different now because times has changed, and even one of my little brothers, his wife is not from here and all that, right? But what my mama used to tell me is marry and have children with a black girl from here, not just because the person is black, because that way we can preserve our culture and heritage. Now, if I was to, you know, marry a black woman from, say, Africa, or you know, not from here, our children will have to adapt to different cultures and heritages, and that will kind of take away from that, kind of defeat the purpose. But over the years, you know what I'm saying? Over the years, you know, it changed to, just marry somebody black. So as far as Dr. Umar, I think Dr. Umar, I think he said, his grandfather was from Cuba or something like that. And he also has, family that's from here. So he himself is a product of uh what we call that, interracial, or a mixed, or whatever you would call that. So, his views, Dr. Umar's views, is not the same views as all black people and everybody else. Is he racist? Me personally, I think we all a little racist, because we was born into a racist society. So it's things that we're taught that's racist. It comes from racism. Like a lot of things we know and we've been taught, and we believe, was taught to us by racists. Science, like the people who created science in this country, science, religion, government, anything, any organization, anything. It all was, the first was created by racist people. So of course, if this whole system was created by racist people, it was racist things put into place inside the system. So the system was kind of changed, from the civil rights march, and the all of that type of stuff, and we was kind of like thrown in and trying to fit into a racist system. They tried to fit us in, and instead of starting all over from scratch. And this is the product of that. Now, is Dr. Umar racist? Yeah, I think we all a little racist. See, my definition of racism is the belief in more than one race. But that's just me. Everybody has different definitions of what racism is. But you can look it up in get the definition of racism. But the definition of racism was created by racists. So, I don't know if they qualified, or maybe they are. Maybe they know more about racism than we do. But when you have to live through it, it's kind of different. On paper, it may look one way, but in real life, if you got to really live through it, it may look another way. So sometimes people may think they're not racist towards black people, and black people may think they are racist, and maybe they don't even know better. Maybe they don't even know some of the things that they are doing are racist. Just like some of the things black people may say and do about white people and Asian people and all that, it may be a little racist. Dirty Kenzo, salute. Aaron, salute. Bobby Ramos. Red Jones, salute. Vinny, salute. Lazy Day, salute. Twin. So now, listen, I believe you can't help who you fall in love with, right? And if everything was equal, and the system wasn't created against us, people's arguments, I get it. You fall in love, you can't help who you love, and things of that nature. If everything was fair and equal, you know other people wouldn't have no argument, but you can't ignore reality. So it's not fair for us from the beginning. So some people have to be a little extreme. Now, for instance, Eminem, right? Dr. Umar feels like Eminem can't be one of the greatest rappers because he's not African. Now, the whole African thing, I don't subscribe to the African thing because I think calling us African takes away from our heritage and our culture. See, at one time in this country, they said it was segregated, and we were called Negroes. That's what we were called. That's what our history was built off of. And then they changed it to black. So Black History Month used to be called Negro History Week. We had the Negro League. We had islands named after us. We had forts, the Negro Fort, named after us. So now when you change the name, you erase the history. So now everything we made and we created and we contributed to the world is now going to be in history under the title of Africans. Now listen, I don't got nothing against no Africans or nothing like that. But the problem comes in is where, it's a whole continent called Africa. There's people called African. So, Obama was the first black president. This is going to go down in history. After Obama became president, they said, oh, now we need an Asian president, a woman president. But at the end of the day, Obama is not from here. His lineage doesn't trace back here. His family was not enslaved over here. So now, in reality, we didn't really have a black president from here. We never had a black president from here, but we've been here since the beginning. Before America was even created, we've been here. We've been oppressed and, So when it comes to hip hop and rap, rock and roll. Rock and roll was stolen from us. Now hip hop is kind of being taken from us. So I see the logic of not naming someone white one of the greatest rappers. But is it right? Is it true? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is I understand it because we're not the only ones that do that, and we really don't do that. Like anything we contribute to the human family, we share it with everybody. But other people, this is this is reggae. Reggae, that's the Jamaicans' music. Salsa, that's the Latin people's music. And they're very protective of their culture. They're very protective of their heritage. They're very protective of that. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. But when we do it, top shot, salute. So some people have to be a little extreme in protecting the things, that we contribute and create, because in the past, a lot of it has been taken from us. Like the mop, the elevator, the filament in a light. All of these things were patented by the government, but stolen from our people. So, these things happen. History tells us. So some people is extreme. Now, am I saying it's right? No, I'm not saying it's right. Is it necessary? It may be necessary. Diamond Shooter, salute. So, if you really look at it, as far as black people from here in America, black people from America, how many of us is still left? Our culture. It's people who get on here and say we have no culture. Everything we got from somewhere else. We have no culture. Any culture we got from somewhere else. Our music, we got from Africa. Our language, we got from Europe. Our food, soul food, that comes from the scraps that master gave to the slaves that they had to throw together. But people don't know that yams is indigenous to America. Certain things that we eat are indigenous to America. And not even the so-called Indians or Native Americans eat these things. They don't grow these things. So in the beginning of history, when they told you the natives ate these things and grew these things that we still eat and grow to this day. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But as far as Dr. Umar, I don't subscribe to Dr. Umar. I'm not really a Pan-African. I think that takes away from our history here in America. I think people from here in America need to study their own lineage and history, and people from wherever they from need to study their own lineage and history, because there's things in there that they're not going to teach you in these schools and all that. Trooper, salute. So y'all got to remember, this place was believed to be India by Columbus for some years. So much so that people to this day in 2023, about to be 2024, are still called Indians, West Indians, American Indians. So once upon a time in history, this place, the Caribbean, was believed to be India. So in the beginning, these people got a lot of stuff wrong. They had a lot of different theories and all of that. It wasn't organized. Everybody didn't believe in the same thing. Then you had public schools coming to play and all of that type of stuff. And then we all were programmed to believe the same thing. And, how you look is determined where you're supposed to come from. But now that we got social media and more information and we're meeting people from different places in the world, we're starting to learn that that was a bunch of misinformation. So at the end of the day, we really don't really know what's going on. But we got to work with what we know and what we got. So me, if I had children, I would tell them, listen, if you find a nice, Black American woman, you fall in love and, get married and all that, that would be great. But if that doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. But I understand it. But I think people should be able to marry and, do whatever they want to do. And as far as, rap or anything, I think if somebody has the talent, they should be given a due diligence. This is what I believe, but I also know that the powers that be will use these things against my people. Sean, salute. Umar had to be the stupid, greediest lying. Well, okay. Listen, I don't, like I said, I don't subscribe to none of this rhetoric and all of that at the end of the day, because I take this very seriously, because this affects me and my people. Some people don't care, but all praises to the Most High. That's part of my mission and my message. And a lot of people, all praises to the Most High. A lot of people come around and, tell us, where we from, what we did and all that. But we all ain't from the same place. Just because we look the same. So before somebody tell you where you from, do your own due diligence. Talk to your elders before they pass on. Gather information. Create family trees. These things are in our histories and all of that for a reason. Because not only did the government and schools and all of that keep histories and all that, we had oral traditions. We had our own history. We had our own lineage. So we can not get caught up. That's a fact. So I think, personally, I think instead of a lot of people study other people's cultures and heritages and then try to tell them people what they learned, in books and all that, but you didn't live it. It looked good on paper, but in reality, it's a whole different story. So what people need to do is study their own lineages, their own cultures and heritage, so they can teach it to other people. So we can teach it to each other and learn from each other. Because this way it's not going to work. This way is going to cause a bunch of confusion and a bunch of people spitting out rhetoric with their own agendas. But I ain't going to take up too much of your time with this, man. Salute to y'all. Appreciate y'all listening. Salute to the chat gang, live gang, replay gang.